So yeah, hi everyone. Today we have the regular Q&A session for students. So if anybody is interested to ask any kind of questions about Google Summer of Code, about organization and next steps, this is the place to ask. And yeah, today we don't have so many people on the call, so probably we could just start from questions.
Oleg, I had a question regarding the Jenkins org. Yeah. So it's like I see Jenkins is associated with CloudBees. Like you work there, and Jenkins is provided as a service by CloudBees. So I wanted to know how is that association like? How is that Jenkins associated with CloudBees? And another one, what I want to know is like, what is Jenkins primarily aimed at? Like, only at enterprises or for everybody?
Okay, yeah, let me answer the question. Actually, it's yeah, this question pops up sometimes, but quick answer that Jenkins is an I get yeah, there is echo from somebody. Sorry, maybe it's on my side, but I'm not sure.
跟那个是一样的吗？这个
Okay, should be better now. Thanks, Rick. Okay, so Jenkins is an independent open source project. Yeah, CloudBees is one of the biggest contributors to the project. CloudBees offers some services like CloudBees Jenkins support, etc. But Jenkins itself, Jenkins community are considered as independent. And yeah, Jenkins is formally a part of software in public interest now. There is an ongoing discussion and plan to migrate to Continuous Delivery Foundation, which is a part of Unix Foundation. Sorry, Linux Foundation. But yeah, Jenkins is an open source project. It's available for everyone. And yeah, this is an open source project. And in the case of Google Summer of Code, we discussed it last Wednesday. Yeah, I work for CloudBees, but all three other GSoC work admins don't work for CloudBees. And if you take a look at the mentor list, yeah, we have several people from CloudBees, and thanks a lot to them for participating. But yeah, again, GSoC is a community project for Jenkins. I hope it answers your question. Yeah, you're muted, so yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
How is CloudBees exactly associated?
CloudBees is a contributor.
I want to know how is like Jenkins as an organization is supported.
Supported in
It's an open source organization, so I want to know how does it act as a sustainable model.
Well, Jenkins is an open source organization. We don't have full-time employees. Yeah, actually, we don't have employees at all as a Jenkins project. So
Okay.
Jenkins, yeah, it's open source project. Yeah, we need some money for the infrastructure, etc. We get this money from donations, from various activities, and for example, even for GSoC, we get some money as an organization, though we mostly spend them on GSoC, like travel grants. So yeah, Jenkins as a project doesn't consume a lot of money. And for example, one of our biggest expenses now is Jenkins infrastructure. You may have seen a message from Tyler in the infrastructure mailing list. So we spent approximately 50K per year on the infrastructure. But yeah, it comes from sponsorship from Microsoft. So yeah, we don't pay money. And yeah, this is how Jenkins is sustainable as GSoC project. We get contributions as engineering time, we get contributions yeah, financial contributions, and that's how project evolves, and that's how it works. So yeah,
Okay.
Jenkins is not a company.
Okay.
Yeah, quite an unusual question for GSoC, but yeah, thanks for asking. Probably with Continuous Delivery Foundation, it will become a bit more clear because yeah, there are plans to formalize some bits of Jenkins things. like having technical steering committee and other common things you may expect from an open source project. But yeah, now we operate in a quite different way. Okay. Any other questions? So I muted everyone when the started. So if you want to ask a question, just unmute yourself and ask.
I had another question regarding Jenkins pipeline. It in the pipeline we are writing like mentioning in all the stages which particular agent will be used. So suppose I'm running a Jenkins Docker container and a Docker, and in that particular build stage I am running another Docker image. So it's like supposing I'm compiling in Python, so Python container will run. So what is it exactly happening there? Like where is the container getting stored, or is it on my local machine that another container instance is being run, or inside that Jenkins container that Python container is being run?
So if you use Docker ecosystem, you have a Docker machine or Docker host. So this is an execution engine. For example, if you have Docker for Mac or just Docker installed, it usually acts as a Docker machine. So what happens in your case? Yeah, you run Jenkins. It uses Docker plugin or whatever to provision a new container with Python, as you said. It spins another container in the Docker machine. Where it runs, it really depends on the Docker host implementation. For example, for Docker for Windows, Docker for Mac, there is effectively a virtual machine running on your host. This virtual machine is Linux one, so that it can just take your containers and execute them natively. If you run on Unix, that you may have Docker containers running directly in the operating system. Well, it depends on the implementation.
Okay, so if I'm locally developing, so like in my local machine itself, the Python container will be running as another instance.
Yes.
Okay.
But yeah, the containers are not virtual machines. So this is something to keep in mind. So containers rely on isolation layers provided by your operating system.
Okay.
So for example, now I use Docker for Windows. Docker for Windows uses Hyper-V in order to run Docker host virtual machine. And this Docker host virtual machine runs containers. But yeah, as a user, I do not really care because I get CLI on Windows, and Docker for Windows, I think, just magically handles it for me. Yeah, and if you use other tools, it will be pretty much the same. Yeah, it becomes a bit more complicated if you use Docker clusters, but yeah, for local development, usually we just rely on the local Docker host. Does it answer the question?
Yeah, it does. Thanks.
Okay. Yeah. Any questions process-wise? Yeah, you may have seen that yesterday I posted an announcement about Google season of documentation. So this is a separate program. Yeah, we will be likely participating there as Jenkins organization or as CDF. It's yet to be discussed, but it will not impact GSoC time schedule and GSoC capacity. I believe that Google season of docs will be handled by another team of org admins. But so it's something which shouldn't impact GSoC, at least my current vision. But yeah, if you know people who are interested in creating technical documentation, etc., yeah, please feel free to connect them to Jenkins community, because we will try to participate in GSoC this year. Okay. Any questions from mentors or admins? Because yeah, if there is no questions, there is no need to spend more time on the call. So we can start.
No questions from my side.
Okay, thank you. Anybody
Yes.
else? Okay. So yeah, then I think we can just close down the meeting. We will have another session tomorrow for Americas and European region. And if needed, we can organize more sessions. But yeah, I think that next week we will also spend some time to share experience from students. So the thing we were discussing last week. And yeah, if there are any questions about the process, maybe next week is right time to ask, because it will be the meeting before the application is open. But yeah, even if applications are not open now, you can start creating the drafts. You can start discussing it with potential mentors. So for GSoC organization, everything is open now. So all kinds of discussions, just feel free to bring them up. March 22nd is just the first day when you can submit it to Google. Okay, I guess that's it. So thanks to everybody for participating. And yeah, if you're a student and if you don't have any questions, these meetings aren't mandatory. So we welcome you to participate if you want to just see what's going on. But if not, it's perfectly fine to just stay in chats and to ask questions in chats. Okay, so that's it. I'll close the broadcast, and yeah, thanks again to everybody.
Okay, thank you.
Thank